Fellow Tacticians, thank you for tuning in. I'm Matthew, founder of Elite Civilian Guerrilla Tacticians. Today's video topic is 23 Dirty Fighting Tactics. However, before I just dive right in, let me get into the who, why, and when for all you naysayers. First off, let me start by saying I don't want to train or train with any bloodthirsty punks or thugs. Who I would like to train or train with are people of a noble mindset who police their communities, such as Neighborhood Watch. Also, women and elderly, or anyone who may need such tactics or pursue such as a martial lifestyle, such as myself. And I also want to remind you guys that tactics like this would apply more to without rule of law situations, and you're going to see why. However, reason being is, I know there's a lot of people that don't like the term dirty fighting. However, that's not something that you're going to use in a ring or use in a fair fight or something like that. We're talking about situations where your life might depend on it. Also, before we get into these tactics, something that I want to discuss with you is equipment. There's things that I carry often or on a regular basis, such as, I'll show some of them right now. They're not on my person, but I have them on my set. Pepper spray, and you want a good pepper spray. I personally don't like the ones that you slide over. This one's ready to go. However, that means I need to keep it for my kids and keep it out of my bag and keep it ready to go and on certain occasions. Also, a flashlight. A bright one with a good strobe light, and I'll show you why. We'll get into that in a minute. Now, this isn't one I carry with me often, but it's in my bag, and this right here is what you call a burn laser. It's not fully charged right now, and I did that so that everything shows okay in the film. This right here. This is my Glock 19. I carry this one for very specific reasons, but those are what's in my EDC. Among some other things as far as weapons. Reason being is you have first response, second response, and third response, and we'll get into that and other things as far as why. My first response in many scenarios, because not every fight you get in or altercation you get in is going to be a life or death situation. Now, I may personally be able to fight 4 or more people at once standing up, and that's another video topic, but I also have a wife and children. Now, I may not be able to defend them at the same time. Probably not. So in such scenarios, yeah, I would go to pepper spray. Second one, when it's escalated, is probably going to be my pistol. Third one, if a pistol fails, and I don't count on my Glock 19 doing that, but if a pistol fails or I run out of ammo, a neck knife. I don't have that on my set. We'll discuss this in another video as well. However, I think we're going to go ahead and dive into the topic now. And number one is fight with your back to the sun. This is a dirty technique we use, and this came from a book by Miyoto Musashi, the Book of 5 Rings. The reason being that you fight with your back to the sun, the concept is that if the sun is to your back, it's in your enemy's eyes. Number 2, burst shouting to take your enemy off guard before you strike. And you'll notice in a lot of old Oriental martial arts films, such as ones maybe have Bruce Lee or something like that, a lot of times they got this kind of hi-ya thing going on before they strike, and that also comes from a book by Miyoto Musashi, where he says if you can get your enemy to flinch in battle, you've already won. Number 3 is hit them when at a mental disadvantage, strike when they are speaking or talking trash. Number 4, throw dirt, sand, gravel, snow, a drink that you might be holding into their eyes. And the reason for this is, the reason I say drink, and because something like this kind of gives you a second to run, get to cover, that kind of deal, or strike if you're close enough. And also, why did I mention some of those other things? For instance, if you're at gunpoint, that's going to buy you a couple seconds to grab your pistol if they tell you to get down on the ground. You never want to weaken your position. This is another video topic that we'll get into at a later point. Anyways, number 5, place your bets. Balls, eyes, throat, solar plexus. And I'm sorry to be kind of blunt, or I don't mean to be vulgar, but the reason we have this set up this way, placing your bets, balls, eyes, throat, solar plexus, is because your legs are your longest extremity. For one, you're going for their nuts. And remember before I said you're going to want your pepper spray, your neck knife, and your gun on you, and maybe your flashlight for other scenarios too, because you don't want to let them get that close to you. One of the things that I got my wife when we first got together was pepper spray, and I told her, if someone ever approaches you at nighttime, hey, I've got a question for you, you say, that's close enough. What did you need to ask me? And if you don't know this person, there's nothing wrong with keeping them at a distance. Number 6, and we'll get into some stuff about this too. Pull their shirt over their head or use a necklace they might be wearing to choke them. Now, I don't have someone to demonstrate with right now. It's kind of late at night. But pulling their necklace down to choke them, if you can get to where you can angle yourself behind them, pulling their necklace down like that and hitting their chin, if someone has a glass jaw, chances are they're out. Pulling their shirt over their head, if you were able to get on top of this person and pull their shirt over their head, there's a good chance they're not going to be able to defend themselves very well after that. Number 7, pull their hair, scratch them, bite them, use fish hooks. If you're looking for a target as far as biting them, I would suggest an ear. I ear it chase like chicken. My bet would be Tyson's chicken. Number 8, fake them out to the left or right. Like you're a football player, lunge at them randomly. You just want to tire them out, stuff like that. Get them on the defense, run out their energy. Anyways, number 9, lead them over obstacles or into holes, or maybe over something in a parking lot to trip them, a pothole, something of that. Just giving you ideas. Number 10, use distractions or diversions. Pretend like someone's behind them. For instance, what's something I come up with off the top of my head? Oh, the cops! And, there's plenty of other scenarios I'm sure you can apply. This is just the concepts that I'm kind of giving you right now. Anyways, number 11, dirty boxing. Throw a haymaker, and whether you miss or land the punch, lean into it with your elbow. So this is the kind of action you're doing right there. You're already leaning in with your shoulder, throw that elbow in there too. Also, when you're throwing a haymaker, I had someone tell me a long time ago, you can't block and punch at the same time. I said, are you sure about that? He goes, yeah. Prove me wrong. I told him to put his hands out like this. This is something we'll use in another video as well, which you'll see why later, but it involves the biomechanics of the human body. I'm going to tell you right now, it's easier to block in than out. And if you're throwing a haymaker, chances are a lot of times if someone's throwing a punch or something like that, or they got their hands up, you're going to be able to come around like this, and you're going to be able to strike and divert that hand at the same time. Number 12, use a reflective mirror or flashbang. Shine a flashlight with a strobe light or a laser into their eyes to disorient them or blind them. Now, when you're using a strobe, you're going to be disorienting them. You're going to have this flash over their eyes, right? You can probably find a lot of flashlights that are really high lumen and maybe permanently damage someone's eyes or retina. However, this burn laser that I have, remember I said the battery is ran down. This is I believe a 1 watt class 3 laser. If I shine this into someone's eyes, they're not going to see again. That's the reason I have to be careful with it too. I actually used to use it to light my cigarettes, and I've used it to light fires before. It's something I keep away from my kids. Number 13, throw a blanket or a net over their head to keep them from biting and bludgeoning them. It's hard to get momentum with your strikes when you have a blanket covering you. Number 14, jump or flank them. And to give you an idea of what I'm talking about, if you don't know what flanking is, there'll be some other videos up later. It's a military tactic and it works very well. However, there's a lot of stuff where you're going to need practice for this. And another thing that I want to mention too is just watching this video is not going to make you a better fighter. It's not going to necessarily make you more equipped. But just to give you an example, if you watch a video on playing guitar, you're not going to become a guitarist overnight. Now, if you have fighting experience, and I'm going to tell you another thing too, these are just things that will probably help you. Little benefactors you might be able to use along the way if you have to survive. Knowing how to do it and doing it are two different things. You have endurance you have fighting experience, you have getting in position, and many other things that are going to come into focus when you have to use these things. But this is going to make you better off. Also, jumping them, not something I would recommend someone do on a regular basis, but in certain scenarios where we're dealing with enemy in warlike type or battle tactics, of course this is something you might apply. And I want to remind you guys that we're talking about clean hands, dirty tactics when it's necessary. If it's a necessary evil, I don't think it's evil anymore. Number 15, take a hostage. Remember, this is without rule of law scenarios. If, for instance, my family was taken hostage, or I'm trying to find out where, an escape route, I may take a hostage. If somebody has me pinned down in a building or something like that, it's a perfect scenario. I'm not telling you to kill the guy. Leave it up to your discretion. Number 16, when an enemy pushes, you pull. Take advantage of their balance. Work smarter, not harder. Number 17, sucker punch them when talking with your hands, or when you have your surrender hands up, that kind of deal. Number 18, spit in their face to follow up with a strike when they delay wiping their face. Number 19, kick and blow out their knees. Reason being, this will hinder their footwork and prevent them from pursuing you. Number 20, step, stand, or stomp on their foot. Number 21, thumb hook their nose. There's plenty of times when you can use this, especially if you're on top of them. This is pretty dirty, but it also kind of involves a combination with the next move. Number 22, headbutt the lower half of their face. If I got my thumb hooks in and I'm hitting someone on their chin, chances are you're not going to want to strike someone with your head at their forehead either. It's going to hurt. Number 23, this is your last one here. Use an equalizer, such as a chair or pool stick. Now, again, this is not the kind of behavior I promote, but when it's necessary, it's necessary. There may be some follow-up videos to this, and I just want to thank you guys again for tuning in. Anyways, this has been 23 Dirty Fighting Tactics with Elite Civilian Guerrilla Tacticians. And as always, keep up your holistic training. Remember your Bible, barbells, nutrition, tactics, and fitness. Thank you for watching.